So today I finally got an SD card for my camera, so now I could actually start doing videos. I got myself a tripod, an SD card, and of course coffee. You need coffee, can't do shit without coffee. The SNES Classic, the Super Nintendo Classic, came out today, according to Nintendo. There's going to be plenty, and we don't have to worry about Tickle Me Elmo syndrome, you know? I was at work on Twitter, don't judge me, found out that GameStop was doing a pre-order thing. You couldn't do it over the phone, you couldn't pay over the phone, you had to do it in person. I called 5 different GameStops and they were already out. This tweet was like a minute old. All the GameStops were running out, and you all know it was on the news. The one place I got nearby, 10 of them. I sped there. I don't recommend that. That is illegal, kids. And if you're kids, you shouldn't be driving. That's also illegal. I got there just in time, right before a truckload of people came in asking about the Super Nintendo Classic. So I got very lucky. Today's the day that I go pick up the pre-order I made, and I get 1 of 10 out of the store, and I can do an unboxing. Chai tea latte. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. It's almost like a sign from God. Get to the SNES Classic. Thanks, God. Beautiful.
It's nice to finally get our hands on this thing. Taking a look at it, we can see that the box actually has the same design as the original Super Nintendo box. That's pretty cool. Definitely knows the demographic and the nostalgia market still being at its peak. People like me who see this remember the box design oh so fondly. Kind of harkens back to the era where we were playing with power and playing it loud, if you guys remember those advertisements at all. We'll get to this insert a little bit later. First, let's talk about the controller. It's been a very long time since I held brand new out-of-the-box Super Nintendo controllers, so it was definitely a mini trip for me to feel the pure and untouched texture once more, with its shiny buttons. And of course you can't have a complete Super Nintendo experience without the second controller. Nothing like shooting your friends in the face with a Hadouken during a game of Street Fighter, am I right? Now the power cord uses a micro USB to USB and has an AC adapter plug-in. We're actually considered blessed to receive this because the power region of this console didn't actually get one. And I actually think it's super convenient that it's a micro USB cord, because that means that if you break it, you could at least use your phone charger. And the good thing about it coming with an HDMI cable is not a lot of TVs have AV now, so this is fine with me. Now, the sizzling steak on this plate of gaming goodness. This console actually represents mine and many other people's childhood, all wrapped in a teensy package of adoration, donning the same light gray and purple color scheme. Seriously, look how small this is. Can you imagine showing this to someone in 1992 and telling them there's 21 Super Nintendo games built in? That stuff would blow their minds. See, look at this, right on top of the original, that's like a quarter of the size. Welcome to the itty bitty gaming committee. Now, of course, the games on this thing are the Hall of Fame: Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Kart, F-Zero, Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario World, and never released Star Fox 2. I technically have it, but that's a repro, that doesn't count. The design on the back's pretty cool, like a little collage of all the games, little characters running around. Kinda looks like Star Fox is having some beef with Link from Zelda here, with all the original box art strewed about, and some screenshots at the bottom. That's pretty cool. And if you want to talk about nostalgia, this poster definitely brings me back to the old days. Pretty cool, got a bunch of screenshots and stuff on it. And definitely with the old school design. On the back, of course, you got the instructions in case you don't know how to plug it in. On the front here, this is where the controllers will go, with a little unhingy little flap thing. You plug the controllers into there. So the top part doesn't open at all, it's aesthetics only really. And of course this plug also works for Wiimotes, which is actually pretty cool. It means you can plug a classic controller into this or plug this into your Wiimote. Of course, multiple language options, gotta have that. And here we are at the menu, crisp, clean, and beautiful looking. Of course, with plenty of games to choose from, you can't go wrong on any of them. All classics, but we're going to start with Street Fighter 2 Turbo to showcase the controls here and see how good they are, how comparable they are to the original Super Nintendo. I'm going to start off with my boy Vega because I figured he's got more complicated controls to be able to use. I'm also going to take this time and talk about why, of all Street Fighter 2 games they could have picked, did they pick Turbo? You know, they could have had New Challengers or Championship Edition, but they chose Turbo, and I know why. Turbo was almost like the shot back at the Genesis. The Genesis pretty much flipped them off, said, hey, we got Championship Edition. Super Nintendo came back, said, hey, we got Turbo, and guess what? You can play the boss characters on this too. Oh, and the game can go faster. So, yeah, that was probably why they put it on here, because it's very representative of the console wars back then to almost show a little bit of dominance. Now, second, I used Ken because I figured the controls were more simple. And of course, the controls didn't let me down. They were very loyal to the Super Nintendo. The controllers themselves even look exactly alike. One of these is a Super Nintendo controller, and at first glance you probably can't tell which one. One game I definitely wanted to test, that's Super Metroid, one of my most favorite games of all time. And this is the kind of game that people wore out their controllers playing over and over. So I wanted to make sure that the hardware ran perfectly, the frames were good, controls were perfect, and as you can see, I'm wall jumping up this thing, shooting these guys. It's just like I'm playing it on Super Nintendo. And it actually looks better too. I guess that's the HDMI output. One thing I also wanted to note, yeah, there is saving in this, but there's also save states. Take a look at the bottom of the screen. Now, as you can see, below the menu here, if you hit the reset button on the console, you will be taken to this menu and you have this little save icon with the wings on it. Now this is where you could pick between slots 1 and 4 to pick a save at. Press Y, save into it, there you go, you have a save state. And of course, another cool feature, if you look at the bottom of the screen one more time, not only can you save a game, but you can go down, you could either use your little floaty save icon or a suspend point, and from one of those points, you could actually rewind the game. Now that's a pretty cool feature, and it definitely would come in handy for games like Mega Man X. Not that I used it on Mega Man X. Totally used it on Mega Man X. No shame. But look, you could jump into any one spot. You could rewind it and take back something you did, or you can pick a file, and if you put yourself in a corner, you won't be permanently in that corner. Now, a lot of you probably know what I'm doing, and that's the mock ball trick here. I'm gonna see if I can still nail it. Okay, a little rusty, got it. Let's try one more time. And nailed it. See, look at that, it only took me 2 tries. Now I got super missile. Going up here, wall jumping. Wall jumping seems perfectly fine too. I mean, all the mechanics are tightly knit. The game's not even slowing down. I'm even doing the little wall jump trick that a lot of people use in speedruns. I remember discovering that as a kid. That was really cool that you could skip a lot of stuff. And of course, take this fight up to Kraid and see if this game slows down. Of course it doesn't. Kill Kraid, take his Varia suit. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, sir. Oh, by the way, don't tell anybody, but that mock ball trick actually took me like 32 tries. Okay, moving on. And of course I tried out some other games on here for you guys. Yoshi's Island, of course, I wanted to make sure that ran perfectly. No slowdowns, nothing. Plays very fun. I still enjoy this game. And of course, I decided to try out the progressive scans. All I see are the lines. I don't really notice the difference otherwise. But I guess it's for kind of a retro filter kind of feel. If I'm wrong, just let me know. I don't know much about progressive scan. It's really nice that they include a lot of perks in this package, honestly. They know you could just go emulate this or buy the regular copies, but they wanted to throw in as much content as they could for you, and that's pretty cool. The little things really do matter. While playing this, I definitely had some genuine smiles on my face. It was nice to actually have my favorite console of all time, with a lot of my favorite games of all time, and have them in such a small package I could take anywhere with 2 controllers and none of that complicated stuff. Also giving me an opportunity to play games I missed out on, like Contra 3. Yes, let's attack aggressively. Contra 3 is a good inclusion and a good challenge. Oh, I died already. Well, it's a good 2-player experience, especially since I died again. But you know, it's all about the fun. Damn it! Okay, my first time playing it, but no more deaths from here on out. I got this. I'm totally got this. I'm unstoppable. I'm on a roll. Ah! Okay, progress. Come on. Progress. Progress. There we go. Try to kill me now. I have a friggin' tank. Oh, now my friggin' tank. Okay, I still got this. If you just believe in yourself. Okay, that's fine. You know what? Maybe I just need a little practice is all. But anyway, back to the start menu. Something cool happens when you let it sit for a while. Little Mario will come out and hit on a save and show a replay of its past minute or so. And some other times Luigi will come out and start playing with your settings. You little scamp. Sometimes it's the little touches like these that make you appreciate a product like this. These days, the hot new thing seems to be bringing back some oldies, whether it's not that old or pretty old, or, you know, something from your previous years with an HD remix or a new game entirely. Sometimes even a straight up port of a game from just a couple of years ago. Being a big Super Nintendo fan and it being my favorite system, this is something I really appreciate to have. It's great to have all these games contained into one tiny package I could take with me anywhere. The Super Nintendo Classic Mini is the best way to relive your childhood with some extra perks. With new console after new console, evolution after evolution, sometimes it's easy to forget where we came from, and it's always nice to go back and relive those years of simpler times, like playing a game in person with your friends. Back before pay-to-win, microtransactions, and buying a game that was half done just because they can update it later. Not to bash any of those games, but with simpler times did come simpler fun. So let's address the elephant in the room. I know you could emulate, I know you could use RetroPie or Raspberry Pi, but this is an official Nintendo product, one that comes with pretty much the best Super Nintendo games. Albeit missing Chrono Trigger, but I could forgive them for that. But only because I already own a few versions of it anyway.
Hashtag bestest game ever of all time.
But considering the insane price to buy all these individually, this package, being $80, is a really good price. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you next time.